You ever find yourself in bed at night, ready to go to sleep, and all of a sudden you remember the time you peed your pants in 7th grade? Nobody else? Oh, okay. What's up, everybody? You're watching Traumadelic. My name is Omar Farouk. I am a trauma-informed therapist in training, and I was not planning to look like a cult leader today, so my apologies. Anyways, I put up a snippet of the last video on TikTok and it completely blew up. I had a lot of comments asking for me to expand upon the content, especially pertaining to when you become regulated and more embarrassing memories come back to you or things you just haven't processed overall. Before I begin the video, I just wanted you to know that I'm a trauma-informed therapist in training. I'm still training to be a therapist. I am not your therapist. This shouldn't be taken as mental health professional advice to you. This is just more general things that I've been learning as I've been on track to becoming a trauma-informed therapist and what has helped me process some subconscious or repressed memories. So why do we remember super embarrassing memories when we're going to bed, or it could be a completely random part of your day? Why do these random thoughts all of a sudden come up and try to hijack your mind? We can look at this concept adjacent or complementary to free association and psychic determinism. This is one of those things that was proposed by Sigmund Freud that was somewhat coherent and actually kind of made a little bit of sense. And the idea goes, no thought is ever random. That your brain is holding on to memories and things that you have not processed ever since the moment of the event. And all it takes is a little bit of stabilization and regulation for your brain to feel safe enough to bring these memories up. So, for example, you go to bed at night, you feel all regulated, your heart rate starts to lower, then your brain decides that your body is ready to confront a memory that you've been holding off on for a while. The only problem is we have a human brain. We're a little bit too smart for our own good, and we have the ability to be like, I don't want to think about it, push it away. This is your brain and your body telling you, pay attention to this, process this, because I'm tired of holding on to it and I had to wait until the opportune moment when you were relaxed enough for me to bring it up. This can also be applied to PTSD and CPTSD, where someone who is engaging in trauma healing, the ideal thing to do is to get yourself regulated and stabilized where your heart rate is around 60 to 70 beats per minute. And that is when you might feel the trauma starts to attack you. This is why some people with complex PTSD can't quite feel comfortable in their bodies and can't quite feel relaxed, because that brings up memories that their brain feels that their body's ready to tackle and they just might not be there yet, which is totally fine, by the way. Trauma healing should be tailored and unique to your own experience and when you feel ready to tackle a memory. Sorry, this is my cat. Hi, Chad. So how do we resolve this? Now, I want to make it very clear, again, I am not your therapist. I'm not giving out mental health professional advice. I would highly recommend you bringing this up to your mental health professional, especially if they're trauma informed. And if you're about to go to bed and trauma comes up, this is something you definitely want to avoid doing, because free association and psychic determinism is usually more fit to counter embarrassing memories or uncomfortable memories or stressors. PTSD and complex PTSD require actual trauma healing and some support from a mental health professional if that is accessible to you. So you're going to bed, you're getting these embarrassing thoughts, and you have pushed them away your entire life, and now you want to get rid of them. What if I told you there's a permanent solution for this and it will never come back? So your brain holds on to this stuff for a reason, and it wants to get rid of it. It doesn't want to hold on to it any longer because it's a burden on your subconscious mind. It's a burden in your body. Remember when I told you that we're too smart for our own good? We start pushing memories to the side so we don't feel them? Yeah. That's the problem. The more you push the memory to the side and the more you avoid feeling the embarrassing memory, the more it's going to come back to haunt you, and the more your body's going to tell you, hey, you haven't processed this yet. Can you please get rid of it? Your body looks at this as an opportunity for you to actually feel and process the emotion that comes out of the embarrassing memory or the stressful memory or the uncomfortable memory. If you feel safe enough, this is the opportunity for your brain to process what happened. So for example, I would ideally sit there and, regulate self-regulate, wait for an embarrassing memory to come up, and then once an embarrassing memory does come up, you allow yourself to feel what you feel. If you feel embarrassed as you need to be. If you feel as angry as you need to be, without any judgment, without any critique. You almost have to watch it like it's a sunset. Think about when you're watching a sunset, you're not trying to force it to go down. You're not trying to pause it. You're not trying to reverse it. You're just watching as it is. And that's how emotions take place throughout our body. If emotions were permanent, we'd be crying 24/7. Fortunately and maybe unfortunately, emotions come in waves and they pass. They stay for a certain period of time and then they leave our system. Feel the embarrassment, feel the hurt that you might have felt. As long as you're not being harsh and critiquing yourself, talk to yourself in a way you validate your feelings and say, hey, that was kind of embarrassing. It wasn't cool that I went through that, but it's over now. And I can feel as embarrassed as I want. And maybe your body wants to tense up while you're thinking about it. Let it be as tense as it needs to be. Maybe you want to cry. Cry as much as you need to get that out of your system. The point is, the moment you suppress an emotional response there, it is stuck in the body and it will come back to haunt you. But once it is processed, and if it's processed correctly, it will not come back unless you willingly recall it. And at that point, if it's processed and you willingly recall the emotion, then you probably won't feel the embarrassing emotion that's behind it. You will be able to recall it without becoming triggered or stressed out or emotionally irritated. If you're having a hard time regulating and maybe even stabilizing, I would recommend looking into exercises or skills that might lower your heart rate, especially before you go to bed. A shower before bedtime can be really good for you, especially if you are in a cooler environment. That kind of helps to induce a drop in your heart rate, not too low, obviously. I also highly recommend 4, 5, 6 breathing. This is an inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 5, and an exhale for 6. The idea behind that, the more you inhale, the more you stimulate your sympathetic nervous system, your fight or flight response. And the more you exhale, the more you stimulate your parasympathetic nervous system, your regulating response. The response that kind of helps to alleviate your fight or flight and kind of puts you back into homeostasis. So we want to stimulate homeostasis as much as possible. Exhale, put emphasis on exhales, but that doesn't mean breathe like no. Take it easy. Breathe like how you would probably when you're sleeping. So for example, let's do a breathing technique together. I'll cue you in 3 seconds and we'll inhale for 4, we'll hold for 5, and we'll exhale for 6. In 3, 2, 1, inhale for 4, hold for 5, exhale for 6. I might have messed up the counting there, but you get the point. If you do enough of these, your heart rate should drop at least a little bit. If you want me to dedicate a video on stabilizing techniques and grounding skills that help to lower your heart rate, lower your anxiety and stress levels, so it's easy to process some emotions, let me know. I'll be happy to make that. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, comment down below. I'll be happy to respond and make a future video answering some questions. This has been Traumadelic Healing. You are watching Omar Farouk, trauma-informed therapist in training. Don't forget to wash your hands. I hope you have a lovely day. See you in the next video. Peace.